Hey guys, welcome back to the Think About It podcast. I'm Nisi. I am so excited to have a safe space to speak our truth or to find it. So come on in for however long I have you here or however long I have your ear. Now let's think about it.
Every time that I think of you, baby girl, I'm all love on you. I'ma kiss your forehead, that's true. I be saying prayers for you. Anything when I buy for two. Baby girl, I lie to you never.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Think About It podcast with your girl. Woo. Nisi, we're back. We're here. We're good in the hood. What's poppin'? What's poppin'? What it do? You in the crew? We lit and all that. What's down? Say hey to Pam. Girl, that was off the doom. That was off the doom, baby. One thing about it, two things for sure, three things for certain, and four things I'm gonna carry out this front door. Baby, I'm a rapper. Like, the girls don't want me to come back in the game because if I do, I'm shutting it down to the ground. Okay? Okay? And it ain't no joke. It ain't a hope. You understand that? Let's get into it. Hey, you guys. Y'all really be thinking, if y'all don't know, I promise you, for the most part, I'm not always on 10, but out of maybe like 90% of the time, probably 88% of the time, I'm always on 10. Like, I'm always on 10. Like, literally, I'm always on 10. Like, I feel like when it comes down to my family, I literally was driving after dropping my daughter to school, and I really thought about like how, you know, my daughter really thinks like I'm always on 10. She's just like this all the time. She's a Gemini, so she's really like laid back, chill, you know. My mom always be like, you know, I'm very charismatic, I guess you can say. Like, I'm always like, you know, I'm very expressional, you know. I'm very, what's the word? Is it expressional? I don't know. I'm a happy person. I like to be happy. Okay, and this is actually good for the conversation that we're going to talk about today, because let me be me. Let me live my life. But I literally was thinking, like, I wonder if it's just me, or is it just like, am I the problem, or is my family the problem? You know, because everybody always be like, this girl, she just like, you know, I walk into the room, I give like, what's, yeah. I literally thought about that yesterday, sidebar. Low-key, I feel like I gotta get checked for ADHD because I be everywhere. But thinking, I was cooking yesterday, y'all, and I was talking, you know, again, on 10, messing with my daughter. I was like, yeah. And I'm like, that sounds like a bunch of frogs. Like, why do we do that? Yeah. It sound like a bunch of frogs. Anyway, but I later was like, is it just me or is it my family? Like, who's weird here? And I came into the conclusion and understanding and a revelation that it's really them. It's not me. What's wrong with that? You know? What's wrong with that? People be like, oh, girl, who wake up and just happy? Who wake up and just mad? Girl, you got life. You got breath in your body. What you mad about? Why? You got to be always happy. Why not? I'm not always happy because, baby, one thing about it, like, two things for sure. When I get mad, I get mad. But when I'm happy, and I like to be happy. It's like everybody, I just feel good. Everything just feels good. It feels like my titties is lifted, because they are today. I just feel like, you know, my eyes is brighter. You know what I mean? I feel like I just like my butt just spread a little bit more. You know, I just feel happy. You know, I'm happy. Anyway, guys, welcome back. Like I said, that was long. To another episode, girl. Y'all, let's get into it. Let's get into the ketchup, mayo, and mustard, because why not? Okay, why not? It's a whole lot of real quick, honey, the kids is back in school. And I know, we like, yeah, turn up lit, hey, period. But at the same point of time, have you realized when the kids get back in school, like, we have to get ourselves back on the schedule as well, too. Like, you know, summertime, people like, girl, I ain't got to pick that kid up. Like, child, shit, I ain't got to do all this because, you know, I can do what I want to do, you know. But when they get back in school, you have to make sure, like, whatever it is that you do, like, either in the daytime or the evening time, preferably, of course, in the daytime, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, yeah, I got to make sure I do this because I got to get the kids. Especially the kids who, like, who you, like, when you pick your kids up from school, even if, like, you know, you have younger kids and you got to get them from the bus stop and stuff, like, you got to be there, you know what I mean, to get them, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you actually, like, you always on the go. That's how I feel right now. I really don't like feeling like that, but it's like, I got to do what I got to do. That makes sense? It's like, I don't really have, like, I want the kids to get back in school, you know, because it's like, by the end of the day, they're eating my house down. She's eating the house down. It's just one of her. And when she eats, it's like 25 of her. You know? Sometimes you want to just be like in your own little space, in your own little world, like, you know, some peace and quiet. You didn't want to have the next TV in the room. You know, you just like, ugh. You know? But then you realize, like, I still got to make sure it's a time period to do this type of stuff. Like, when I dropped her to school the first day, y'all, this might be a little TMI. Girl, my daughter, she liked to watch TV in the living room, right? So I always have to be in my room, you know. She got TV in her room, but she want to be in the living room. So I'm confined to one area. I have a TV in the kitchen too, y'all, because I like to watch TV and cook. But it's like, I'm not cooking. I want to cook. I want to relax, you know. So I got my living room back, y'all. Let me tell you, honey. I dropped it off, honey. I was butt booty ball naked. And I wrapped myself in my little covers, and I laid on the couch. I was so content. But I had to realize, like, okay, you know, this is only gonna last for a certain amount of time. So, you know, I had to set my alarm. Honey, when that alarm went off, I was so mad. I was mad. But let's get back to the positive side. So the kids are back in school. Amazing. A blessing. Yes, they are. I hope each and every one of y'all, honey, who got the kids, who aunties, who grandmas, whatever, if you are just a guardian, I pray that this school year is nothing short of greatness for the kids. I hope they get the education, stay focused and make great decisions, okay? Y'all, I have a sophomore and I have a sophomore. I know, because it's like, you? Really? You have a sophomore? There's no way. There's no way. Thank you, darling. Thank you, darling. But I have a sophomore, and I don't know how to feel about it. You know what I mean? I think it's one of those things too. I feel like, I don't know if it's like, I'm sure it's all of your kids, but when you have one kid, it's like, what am I going to do? Because she got like, I didn't want to talk about how much years she had, because I start crying. I would. But she don't have that long to go, y'all. And then she like off to college, and then like, what am I supposed to do? That's what I do. I take care of her. That's my biggest job. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I go to work, whatever, yeah. But I work for her though. Does that make sense? Like, everything I do is because of her. I work for her. So who am I work for? Who am I work for when she gone? Anyway, y'all, thank you for letting me vent. I really appreciate y'all. Y'all are very nice people, and that's why I rocks with y'all. Thank you. Appreciate that. Y'all, we back on the wine. Told you the kids is back in school. The kids is back in school. Yeah. Yeah. Got a little Sauvignon Blanc in here today. Y'all, the kids back in school. Why not? Period. Yeah, we gotta be back on the wine. Y'all know I ain't done wine on the podcast in a while, but why not? Why not? Y'all, I'm done talking. Let's go ahead and get into real quick. Before we get into it, I gotta tell you this joke, y'all. I'm literally, first off, I got up. I usually do not do this, but I got up. I went to bed early. If you know, when you go to bed early and get that, like, that's not your regular routine, you wake up throughout the night and you can't go back to sleep. And that was me yesterday, y'all. I went to bed like 11 o'clock. And I know some people like, what? That's late? No, that's not late for me, girl. I cannot tell you what time I go to bed. But I went to bed early. I got up at like around 3-something because I had heartburn, y'all. Because real quick, another real quick. I made seafood boil, right? And I came to realize, as much as we try to tell ourselves, like, girl, I'm still that girl. Ocean, I am, but it's like, you know, my body, like, it's not giving what it used to give. Like, I could have eat anything, wake up the next morning ready to go. Like when you, like when a person who, you know, in our 20s, we would drink. Honey, we drink like a fish, a snapper, okay? And we could wake up the next day, go to work, you know what I'm saying, handle business, whatever. Now, I can't do all that. I can't do all that. I can't eat all that. I can't drink all that. I cannot. Okay. And I remember, like, I'm laying in bed, y'all. When I tell y'all, I woke up 3 something in the morning. I had to go get me some Tums because I needed the heartburn was burning. Okay, I had to drink me some water, and I just cannot go back to sleep. So I, you know, was on the Shade Room last night because, again, early this morning, and I seen the funniest post. Right, somebody said, if you won 50 million and your best friend eye surgery is 49 million, what will you do? Right? Y'all remember this scene from Set It Off? I forgot. I don't know how I forgot the name, but if y'all know, y'all know. The scene from Set It Off when, I forgot her name, but the girl who said, she said, I need this money. That girl. And I think it wasn't Queen Latifah, it was Jada who, like, closed her eyes down. Like, you know, because she died, so she, like, closed her eyes down. And they basically did the little clip of that, right? I gotta read some of these comments. Somebody said, hold on, wait, y'all, I gotta find it. Somebody said, we gonna have fun, sis. You just ain't gonna be able to see it, okay? Somebody said, the Bible said, walk by. Somebody said, the Bible said, walk by faith and not by sight, baby. I know that's right, because listen, baby, one thing about this truth, like, with y'all, girl, look, sis, I got you. I got you. We gonna go everywhere, honey. We gonna be in Bali. You ain't gotta know you want an airplane. You ain't gotta see you want an airplane and know you want an airplane. You want an airplane. You know how it sound. You be all right. Shit, you ain't gotta know you on the beach of Bali. If I tell you that's where we at, sis, that's where we at. Like, you feel the sands in your feet, you'll be fine. You feel the water, don't you? Stop playing with me. But I had to say that real quick. So y'all, boom. Hilarious. Let's go ahead, y'all, and get into the topic of today, the combo of today, the conversation today, y'all. I wanted to do two. So I had two, I guess, that was kind of like I was rotating back and forth. I really wanted to have the conversation about, I think it's been like 4 months, y'all, since I smoked weed. And this is nothing like, you know, you smoked for 2 years. Honey, I smoked for 17 years. I keep saying 17, but I feel like it's like 18, 19. I think it's about 19 years. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was smoking for a long time, but it's been, like I said, 4 months for me since I smoked. And I wanted to have that conversation about, you know, just the reason why, the process of it, and then the benefits of me not smoking. If you guys want to see the episode or whatever, leave me a DM, message me, write a put down below in the comments. However, y'all know, honey, I gave y'all the links, okay? I usually don't really give my, what do you call it? My Instagram. I usually just post it on YouTube. But for the boys and girls on audio, honey, it's Niecey this, Niecey that, Niecey this, Niecey that. That is on Instagram and TikTok, tickety-tock. All right, Twitter, y'all, I started a Twitter and I don't go on Twitter. I try or X. I try to be like an X girl, but it's given an N-O. So those are my two platforms that I'm typically on for the most part. Facebook, y'all, I just post on Facebook, like in my stories. It's rare that I post on Facebook. Like, I'll post, like, you know, for a celebration or, you know, back to school, and I'm going and I'm out of there. So those are my two platforms that I'm actually on. So leave me a message, let me know, okay? So y'all, the topic that like I said, wanted to talk about that. So if you want to have that conversation, let me know and we'll get into it. And I always say when I do have these conversations, for the most part, these are things that I went through in my life, things that I've experienced, and, you know, I've went through. So if I do have this conversation, it would definitely be a help to somebody else, because I I don't like speaking or having a conversation about things that I have not processed fully or I'm still going through. You know, I feel like I'm definitely over that hump of, I think I'm almost positive I broke the not smoking. The girl is not gonna be doing the smoking thing no more, and I'm blessed and highly favored. Thank you, God, because you know, I just feel, again, if we want to have that conversation, we'll get into it. That's what we were talking about today. So that it was between that conversation and how to, and I think it's what is self-care, or yeah. So it was either between that or the other conversation is what is self-care. So I decided to have the second option that I was going with, which what is self-care for the conversation, just because, real honestly, the conversations I've been having over the past week with people that I've met, or you know, that come, like, we know we kind of share the same space, whether the gym or work, you know, that conversation comes up a lot. You know what I mean? And I think I'm positive I made episodes about this, you know, in the, down in the, what do you call it? I've made episodes about this before, about self-care, basically. But like I said, when I first started, it was like a year ago. Is it a year? A year, 2 years? A year ago. I feel like I'm more comfortable, I guess you could say, having conversations and just kind of sticking to the point, you know, and also able to bring a conversation to you where you can understand it instead of me kind of, you know, kind of feeling around my way. Does that make sense? Yeah. So what is self-care? Before we get into the conversation, I always say, before I answer that question, it's going to be a whole lot we're talking about. We're going to be talking about self-care all the way around the board, but, you know, kind of reasons, I guess you can say, or different pointers, I guess you can say, to get to self-care and the reason why we do not get to self-care, okay? So I feel like a lot of times we do not get to the point of of actually understanding what self-care is. I do feel like, because nowadays when it comes, or you know, what self-care looks like for you, most importantly, is because I feel like nowadays social media has become this perception of, you know, clean and luxury and everything is good, right? And a lot of times what we do is we look through other people's lives and we try to reenact what goes on into their lives, right? We look at other people's life and they mention about self-care, and these people are more than likely, you know, these influencers are, you know, being paid to sponsor and advertise, you know, certain things or places or what they wear, and you know, they kind of set their day around these products, right? So they'll mention, like, you know, in order, you know, this is what I do, you know, to prep for my self-care. I love this bag, you know, that, you know, allows me to keep lights up in there when I'm on my way to the spa, or you know, I wear this outfit, you know, I'll just wear this outfit to the beach, like, you know, this is like the best bathing suit for me. I got this bathing suit from so and so, you know, if you like it, use the promo code this, da 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 da. And then we watch these people's lives and we use their lives to, again, reenact what goes on into our lives, right? And I think a lot of times too, and it's nothing wrong, because if I'm being honest, I would look at, you know, or I'll see certain things on social media, and if it works for me, if I knew that I had conversations about myself, or I written this down somewhere in my journal or my planning, and I see someone else do it, which again, this is something that I already wanted to do, but if I see them kind of, you know, had the courage, or even, you know, go to the spot that I wanted to go to, it's like one of those things too, especially like when it comes down to solo dates, right? And I see a person go and do it as well too. It's like, you know what? Yeah, sometimes you need that encouragement, I guess you can say, or that encouragement, I guess you can say, or that motivation to get up and do it, you know, for yourself, right? But if you have not, if this is something that was never on your mind, you never actually even thought about this, it came out of the blue, but because you see somebody else do it, and now you want to post it on social media, you know what I mean? It's the reason why you're doing it. That is not even close to the version of what self-care looks like. You know, I think another thing is when it comes down to self-care, in order to take care of yourself, you have to be self-aware, right? I also believe that in order to, self-care, self-love, self-awareness, this is the conversation that we're going to, kind of rotate around today, because I do feel like in order for you to learn what self-love is, you have to have self-care. It's like, it goes hand in hand. You know what I mean? You can't have one without the next. You can't take care of yourself if you do not love yourself, because you're just going to, again, especially if you're using social media to reenact, things in your life, and it's something that you actually even said, and you didn't even think about it. You're just doing it again for social media, and now you want to record it, you want to post it, you want to, you want to now make people feel like you're that girl as well too, you know what I mean? Or, like your life is just so full of this, when in all actuality, this is something that you don't even want to do, right? You start doing these type of things, and if anything more, now you got more anxiety, right? And sometimes too, I feel like what people do, and they'll put themselves in rooms, right? And then when they leave the room, they feel, even if anything, more drained, right? Then they laugh. And before they even came into the room. Like, I've been around people who, I've been around girls who would, invite people to their event, right? And they would talk about everybody at the event, right, that they invited. And my question always is like, well, why did you even invite them? Also, too, if you want to talk about them, I am not exempt, right? But, why would you even invite people that or you even be around people, right, if you don't even like them? And so, some people say, well, it's a celebration, it's a birthday, you know what I mean? It's an anniversary, it's a baby shower, it's a gender reveal. If these are people that you don't like, then why would you even have them in the room, right? I think self-care, also goes with being self-aware, right? You have to be able to be aware of yourself, to be aware of who you are, to be aware of your likes, to be aware of your wrongs, your right, your indifferent, to be able to get to the point of actually learning what self-love is, right? To also sometimes to break those trauma bonds, to, heal those, those past issues in your life, right? You got to be self-aware. You have to understand the reason why you do certain things, right? The reason why other people outlook on you is the way it is. If you're okay with that, if you're not okay with that, how to process that, how to deal with that. That's important. And I think a lot of times, I mentioned this time and time again, we do not like to do the real version of self-care and self-love, is because you have to deal with yourself. If you are not actually dealing with those things and those situations in your life, that's nowhere remotely close to self-love. Does that make sense? If you're so sitting at home, when you get alone by yourself, you ask yourself all these questions, or you're in the room with people and you still ask yourself, or you still feel uncomfortable, you still feel drained, you still feel like, why am I doing this? You don't understand the meaning, and actively seek self-love. You know what I mean? And really quick, y'all know I like to write things down, because I like to follow up certain things, a lot of things, when I do come to you guys, even when I had conversation about it, because I don't want to feel like I'm the smartest person in the world, or, I got this all together, because, honey, sometimes I don't. Self-love and self-care for me is still it's a process. It's not a journey. It's a journey. It's not a destination. So you're going to learn certain things about yourself. Things that worked in 1 year is not going to work in the next. Things that worked in the last 6 months may not work in the next 6 months. So it's a journey. It's a process as well, too. So really quick, what is the meaning of self-aware? And we're going to read this out really quick, so we get it. So self-awareness is the ability to understand and recognize your own thoughts, feelings, and actions, as well as how others see you, right? And I think a lot of times, especially in today's world, where, again, we live in the age of social media, where everything is so, glitter and glam, and everything is so right, and, it's social media we lose our sense of self. We lose our self of who we are and what we feel. And, it's better to, we have to agree with the best, the most comments, right? We have to agree if somebody else got a laugh, and even though you don't agree with it, but because, right now this person is popping and this person, everything this person, the crowd gets a clap because of who this person is, then you got to clap too. When in all actuality, you don't even feel that way. Does that make sense? So like I said, I don't think we can ever get to the point of self-love if we're not being self-aware. Self-awareness is so important. You know what I mean? And how to learn self-awareness is to, again, ask yourself sometimes, like throughout the day, I would really ask myself, how do I feel? One of my biggest things is, y'all, I told y'all, I try my best to be as honest as possible. One of my biggest things is I know that I have to learn about myself is my anger. Right, my anger is one of those things where my road rage is, I cannot stand my road rage. And I would ask myself, not in the moment, shortly after, which again, that's something I have to work on, and you need to do it ahead of time. Ask yourself in the moment, right? Did I consider what this person was going through? You know what I mean? This person probably, could have got a bad news, and this is the reason why they're driving like this. Or, this person can be handicapped. You know what I mean? This person it's so many things that I don't put I don't consider. But when I actually sit down, or, again, after I leave the situation, I'm like, you didn't handle that the best. You get what I'm saying? Again, still self-aware, but now you can't just be self-aware and still not deal with it as well. That's not what I'm talking about, right? Or, a lot of times what I'll do is, like, I bet you this person's in the phone. Like, if the person in the phone, this is the reason why they driving. So I try to come up with reasons instead of actually knowing the reason. And sometimes you're not going to know the reason because, again, this person isn't in their vehicle. You aren't in yours. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes, too, what I'll do is I'll drive by a car, and if I know you done maybe, like, you done did something crazy, I want to stare you down. Girl, just keep going. It's not that serious, right? But like I said, I know for a fun fact that self-awareness it looks like that. Self-awareness is you seeing your wrongs and wanting to right it, right? Self-awareness is, again, knowing who you are, right? Exactly who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what you're for, what you're not for, what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do. To know when you need a break, when you need to step back, to know when, this is not something that, this is not something in the moment that is best for you. Self-awareness looks like that. You get what I'm saying? Self-awareness is, again, you, like the definition said, is, knowing and understanding your own thoughts as well too. You get what I'm saying? A lot of times, like I said, we agree with things that we know. I know people who would sit there and say one thing to the next person, and maybe because the person's popular, or you don't like conflict or whatever, and then you would talk to other people like, yeah, but I didn't like that, but you just agree with it. You agree with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, stay on business, boo. Say how you feel, right? I said this before, and again, I'm also learning that as well. Every single day, what someone thinks of me is not my business. You get what I'm saying? Especially when you don't mean to offend. Especially when you're leading, again, with self-awareness, right? What you think of me has nothing to do with me. That is a you thing. You get what I'm saying? You can come up with whatever conclusion that you want to. If I know that I did not mean that, and I know what my intentions was, and sometimes it's great to say, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Right? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry you feel that way. But again, it doesn't take nothing from me, because that's what you think. That is your opinion, right? That's what self-awareness look like. And I think once you learn how to be self-aware, you are able to love yourself. You're able to love, truly who you are. You're able to love every version, every crevices of yourself, right? Because ultimately, and again, you're aware of these things. Does it make sense? And again, you don't just love the bad side of it. I think it's when you start to actually grow and you learn, okay, well, this is not what I want to do. I don't like that about myself. I don't like going into these rooms. I don't like dressing like that, right? And you start to really change those ways. I think it's something about change, especially good change too, that it would make you smile, right? It would make you smile. It's like, I did that. You get what I'm saying? It's a great reward. So when you get to the point of actually, checking off those boxes and righting your wrongs, it gives you a sense of confidence, right? And you begin to love those things about yourself. What I do, and this is the reason why I always say, like, as I earlier when I was joking around about me always being on 10, I wasn't always there, girl. I was not always there. Trust and believe that, okay? I had so much trauma and so much hurt on my shoulders. Like, I always would say this growing up, I walk into a room with a chip on my shoulder, right? So if you look at me the wrong way, I don't have to say hey, I don't have to say good morning, I don't have to greet you. Like, for what? What's the reason? I ain't got time for that. You know what I mean? But it was because I was not dealing with those blocks on my shoulder. Do you get what I'm saying? So now when I'm able to walk into a room, or even when I hear conversations, when people say, or when people talk to me and say, like, you're so welcoming, you're so friendly. People would say, like a girl at the gym, she'd be like, you're so pretty, and she was like, a lot of pretty girls will have an attitude, or, they'll act funny or whatever it is. Like, you don't act like that. And sometimes it's so hard to hear, but it's a good hard to hear too, because it's like, yo, you are not this person no more. You know what I mean? It makes me smile. It makes me also want to, again, continue to make those changes in my life. You get what I'm saying? Because if I can just get rid of this thing, if I can just do this better, right? And God tell us, one of our job is to love. You get what I'm saying? Without conditions, our job is to love one another. And when you can walk into a room and you can smile and you can help somebody and you can fill somebody up, that is a different sense of you that girl. You know what I mean? That is truly a different sense of, you're that girl. And that's also being selfless than selfish. You get what I'm saying? And the thing is, there's nothing wrong, you guys, with, in seasons being selfish, because sometimes I do believe that in order to be selfless, at some point in your life, you have to learn how to be selfish. And not just to, everything is about me, because, again, for a negative reason. But when okay, I have to take care of this part of my life. I have to, isolate myself in this area of my life. I have to do this because this is the result of, bad result of when I don't deal with this area. That's perfect. You get what I'm saying? I love to tell people, and I think I mentioned this before on episodes where, what's in my cup, I heard this from Iyanla Vanzant, where what's in my cup is for me. Whatever comes outside of that cup is for you, right? So if you take this cup, right, and you fill this cup up, let's take the wine out, boom, and, you fill this up with water, right? And even if the water is, filled to the rim, I do not pour out of this. Why? Because at some point when I begin to continue to pour and I pour and I pour, the cup is just going to keep getting lower and lower and lower and lower and lower, right? And then if I'm continuously just pouring into somebody else, at some point, single or in a relationship, if you're dealing with, you have the back on your world when it comes down to taking care of your husband or your boyfriend, taking care of the kids, working, cleaning the house, whatever it may be, you know what I mean? And you're just continuously pouring and pouring and pouring out of that cup. At some point, it's going to get so drained, and now y'all having the most stupidest arguments. And that wasn't even called for argument. But by the end of the day, you just so drained and you don't even notice or see it, because this is something that we just do, right? We have to take care of the household, right? We have to, do this, because if this don't do it, like, how we say, if this don't get done, it ain't gonna ever get done, right? And then, like I said, you start having attitude. You start getting snappy. You start rolling your neck a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do the fun things no more, because it's like, after I done did all this, I'm exhausted, because you're taking from a cup. You're taking from a cup that eventually is going to run out. Does it make sense? So what comes outside of that cup is the reason why whatever comes outside of the cup is for you, is because once I'm filled, I can continue to give, right? It's an overflow. So when you have an overflow, I feel good. Of course I can do this. But the minute that cup just reached the tippity top of this cup, of this glass, the minute that water, reached at the tippity top of this glass, it's time for me to hold up and take a reset, right? I need to get myself back right. You get what I'm saying? I need to do things that is going to make me happy. I need a little break, okay? And especially, when you're a single mother, or again, when you have the world on your shoulder, right? It's hard for us to even say, I need a break. I gotta get away, right? And a lot of times, you know, or we'll say, what I'm gonna do? Go by myself, right? And a lot of times I came to realize too, sometimes we put ourselves into an emergency self-care, right? Emergency self-care. And what that looks like is, and I'm just coming up with these words as I'm talking, y'all. An emergency self-care is like after you've already reached your limit. You have nothing else to do because you're so mad and you're so angry. Now, you know, you're just sitting at the beach and you're just, you know, trying to calm down. Or the argument went too far. And now, you know what I'm saying, y'all at each other's throat, right? So it's like, I need to take a drive. You get what I'm saying? That's emergency self-care. And the reason why, even when you come back into the house, you might be a little bit more calmer, but it's like, you know, it's so dear. It's because you didn't allow this stuff to go on for so long, right? For so long. The only thing it did was kind of put a Band-Aid on it. It's imperative, you guys, for us to take to take ourself and our self-care so serious and so important. Do you get what I'm saying? I do believe that happiness starts within. I know it sounds so cliche, but it's really the truth, right? When I hear people say, you know, if it wasn't for this man, I would not do this, or if it wasn't for this man, some things is, you know, if a man is, you know, helping you and, you know, guiding you, because that's his job. It's one thing, but you know, some people put they all into this man, right, or all into this our kids, right, whatever it may be, this job, right. And then when this thing leaves us, or it goes away, or it falls to shit, right, we feel like, whoa, we feel lost, honey. Okay, we is in a different state. We on a road that we've never, you know, went before. We never traveled before. This is uncharted waters. I need the GPS. It's not working. With T, how do I get up out of here, right? But when we learn to actually, you know, make ourselves our own happiness, it's a thing. I'm telling you, it's a thing. It's a thing. It's a thing. Doesn't mean that stuff ain't gonna hurt your feelings. Doesn't mean that, you know, you're not gonna get pissed off no more. You know what I'm saying? But you don't hold on to it anymore. And you could also process and analyze. And again, we have self-awareness, right? To even sit there and break this down and be like, okay, well, look, this was this situation, but this is who I am. You get what I'm saying? It also allows us to set boundaries when we learn self-awareness. Does that make sense? We allow ourselves to, you know, have self-control when we learn, you know, how to be self-aware. You get what I'm saying? A lot of times, honey, the stuff that we allow in our life is because we ain't got no self-control. We ain't got no boundaries. And the reason why we ain't got it is because you're not taking care of yourself. You have no self-awareness, boo. And when I ain't saying it with no shot, because I'm telling you, girl, I know I'm speaking from past experiences. Does it make sense? But when you get to, you know, holding yourself accountable, right? When you get to holding yourself accountable, when you start to take your awareness serious, when you start to, you know your feeling and process it and know your thoughts and sit with your thoughts and, you know, work on those thoughts. Work on, you know, taking the negative and adding the positive. Work on filling that cup and allowing it to overflow. And I'm not saying life is great, but it's better. Baby, it's better. I'm telling you, it is better. All right? And I know, like I said, y'all, we were going to have the conversation about, you know, being what is self-care, okay? These are versions of how to get to self-care, right? These are versions of not just looking at what's on social media and then trying to apply it into your life and saying, oh, yeah, this is what I want, this is how I want to do it. Girl, I need to be getting paid for that. Okay, they are getting paid for that. All right. So how to, you know, start actually taking care of yourself, right? Learning self-care. I said this earlier is, you know, again, doing things that actually makes you happy. Doing things that makes you happy. What makes you happy, right? What are those things? You know those things. What are those things? I see a lot of times too, like so one of my things, I spoke about this before, one of my favorite things to do is to go on one of my favorite things to do is to go on solo dates, right? Or, and so, you know, like when I have conversation with people, they be like, I wish I can do that. You know what I mean? But, you know, people just staring at me, or, you know, my anxiety would, you know, be at an all-time high, this and that, whatever. When I did it, y'all, I'm not gonna hold you, I was a little like, ooh, it's uncomfortable. But sometimes we have to do the uncomfortable things to get to comfortable, right? Now that is my thing to do. I love to get dressed up, honey, and just heal it out, you know, depending on how far, like where I'm going. Yeah, like one thing I've learned about myself is I'm a creature of habit. So when I'm, which, and I've always known that, but I've accepted that, but I've still, now I'm at a point where I'm like, no, try new things, do new things. But it's a process, right? So when you get to the point of like doing certain things again that makes you uncomfortable and you start to do it, then it's like, you know, okay, well, this is my area right here, right? This is what works for me, right? And then you, after a while, get tired of something, right? You're like, no, I want to try something else. I want to do something else. But you just, you know, you start with small steps, baby steps, right? So, like I said, depending on where I go, my favorite place to go, you guys, is in the casino, at the Jubao Noodles Bar. I just love their food. Now, I think I'm over their food because I ate their food my solo dates is typically on Thursdays, right? If you don't know, now you do. And I would just, like I said, get dressed. I would go to the casino, to the restaurant, and because the distance of walk is it's a little distance, I would not wear heels. But I'm actually glad that I'm over that now, because now I want to go to actual restaurants where I can just maybe like do a valet, or I can just park my car and just walk in instead of having to, like, you know, walk through the casino to go to the restaurant. You know what I mean? So I'm still cute, but I'm more dressed now to compare it to like me wanting to be dressed up. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense. So now, like I said, you know, I definitely want to go to, you know, better restaurants. If I have like a content day, you know, or I'm planning, like in my plan or whatever, I'll take my books with me. Or if I don't want to do that, I'll just take my headphones and watch me a show. You get what I'm saying? Eat my food, be in my own little world. You get what I'm saying? And that's how you also meet people as well too. I've met people want to, you know, conversate. Men, you know, want to, you know, they're staring like, okay, who is this lady? You know what I mean? They're comfortable as well to even want to come up and talk to you, because it's like, you know, she's not with a bunch of girls. Sometimes, you know, men, they feel intimidated, so they don't want to come up. But overall, the reason why I personally go is to enjoy myself, to enjoy the food, to enjoy my time. And when I get done, I feel lovely. I feel at peace. It feels good to you know, take myself on a date. You know what I mean? What I love to do as well too is I love to I like movies. So if I don't really want to dress up, I think this would be actually perfect for people who, you know, are just starting to, like, you know, find different things to do, and what works for them is movies. Because, you know, movies is dark, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not, ain't no eyes on you, because they can't even see your black ass, you know what I'm saying? Or your white ass, whatever, I don't know. But it's dark, you know what I'm saying? It's you know, you're like basically in your own little world, your own little bubble. Everybody's like focused on the movie itself, so everybody's head should be straight at the screen, right? So it's super comfortable. You know, it doesn't take a lot for you to, you know, prepare for, especially me, because I live maybe like 3 minutes away from the movie theater, and I love that. So sometimes, y'all, especially in the wintertime, I would get dressed. I would just put on like a sweatpants, crop top, or like a long sleeve, put on my slides, get my bag, you know, get there, get me a glass of wine. If I want to snack on something, I'll snack, or I'll get me like some food, because, you know, the one I go to, they actually have like pastas and salads and, you know, steaks and stuff like that. So I would eat it down. I would just enjoy myself, and it would be so freaking fun, right? What else I would also do? I would go to like I was about to say Noble Crest, Barnes and Noble, to the bookstore. They do have like an area where you can just like read your books, get some coffee, hang out, you know what I mean, and just read your book. Again, amazing. Chef's kiss. I do not stay close to like a beach. I live in Tampa. Clearwater is like Clearwater. I don't live close to Clearwater, but when I used to live in my old city, I was like maybe 10 minutes away, maybe 5-10 minutes away from the beach. So in the morning times, I loved, after I dropped my daughter off, I would just like sit at the beach, you know, or early in the morning, even before it's time for her to like get up, I would go to the beach, watch like the dolphins and, you know, just watch nature, you know, watch like the dolphins and like the fish or like a manatee just kind of like, you know, come out the water. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I would just like sit and listen to a Bible verse or listen to, you know, gospel music. I would do something to make myself feel at peace. Do you get what I'm saying? And it was sitting with yourself. And what it does is it allows you to process what's going on in your mind as well, right? Another thing that I do, self-care doesn't always have to be going out. Self-care can you just be at home and, you know, enjoying, putting your feet up, watching a movie, right? Self-care is, again, what you want to do, period. Taking a rest, going to sleep, having a good night. You get what I'm saying? Relaxing. Does that make sense? I don't want to do this today. That's okay. That's okay. Take care of yourself. And I find that when we do that, it's when we are fully charged. Again, we have an overflow, right? Where we can help, we can assist, we can take on the world. Do you know what I mean? I also, too, one of my biggest things to do is I love to journal. I've been journaling now for maybe like 3 years, about 3-4 years now. I've been 3-4 years. I started off with like this little mini book, and now I have like a big journal, but it's just like papers, you know, like not papers, but just like, you know, papers, I guess, right? It's no like form of action or something that I, you know, that prompts me to, you know, do stuff. I like those type of journal. I like journal that prompts me to, that asks me questions, and then they kind of have like an extra free space where I can, you know, write down my thoughts, right? So I actually got this book. I just recently got this like maybe 2 weeks ago. This one here is the Turn Your Phone Off journal. And it just allows you to, it asks you like so many different questions. Like one it has here is something has led you to seek a lifestyle that is less reliant on the internet. Use the space below to write down the reason of your experience that have brought you to be looking to be offline more often, right? So it has that. It has like an offline to-do list. It has where you can kind of log in your internet and online usage time over here. So it prompts you, right? And then when you get into the actual, because that's just like the start. I love that. And then when you get into the actual, it has so much of those things that can prompt you. But let me find a page that I have not wrote. So here it has like a morning journal. Then it has an evening journal. And I love this because what it does is, you know, allows you again to spend more time with yourself as well, right? In your thoughts, and have healthy thoughts. And you know, one of the things I love in the journal is it says in the evening journal it says things that I learned today, and that I have habits I noticed that held me back, because that is something that I truly need. I need that right there. I need it right there. It has a gratitude list for the evening journal. It has things I'm letting go in the evening journal. Then in the morning journal, it has things to do offline. So it's kind of like a schedule, my intention for the day, today's mood, 3 things I appreciate today, extra thoughts, plan to keep myself offline. So I love that. I personally, I live for books like these, for journals like these, that I'm able to, you know, be more grounded, again, of my feelings and what I want and what I expect from today. And when I don't actively do those things that I said I'm going to do today, that's why I do love where it has the habits I noticed that help me back. Because again, it allows me to, you know, hold myself responsible. As an adult, no one should have to hold us responsible. Nobody should have to be able to hold us responsible. We know our right, our wrongs, and our indifference, right? So yeah, that's something I also love to do as well too. Another thing, y'all, I'm a book girl. I love books. I do notebooks and stuff. I also have a master plan. So this is like my daily journal, my daily planner, you know, things that, you know, when it comes down to my bills or things that I have to do today, things I have to, you know, my meal prep, my content, like I love that because again, it allows you again to stay aware of your thoughts, to be self-aware of what you're doing in your day. A lot of times we wake up, we have no plans on how the day's gonna go. You just get up, get out of bed. That's why some of us, we wake up, we mad, we angry, pissed off, we yelling, we upset. We ain't say thank you God not one time of the day. You know what I'm saying? We have no routine. get a routine that would help you also to be able to take care of yourself. Self-care, right? That's what it looks like. So I do have a few things before I close this out where I jot down what self-care looks like, or things that you can do to take care of yourself. I have healing your trauma and trauma bonds. I think that is imperative when you're learning yourself, because again, that's a weight, that's a chip on your shoulders. And once you start to do that, you can start opening doors and healing and dealing with other things in your life as well too. Leaving that toxic relationship. I know y'all don't want to hear it. That's a beautiful way to take care of yourself, because all y'all do is argue. You're just mad. You're dealing with the same thing over and over. Leave the relationship. Now, that's a great way to take care of yourself. Putting you first, telling yourself the truth, building a relationship with God. Stop overindulging in drugs, sex, alcohol, negative people pleasing. I know that sounds crazy because it's like, girl, who do you think you are? It's the truth. You want to really and truly take care of yourself. We can't take care of ourselves if all we do is we allow, we try to drink our problems away. We try to smoke our problems away, right? It's still going to be there. Now we got to keep drinking. We got to keep smoking. We got to keep drinking. We got to keep smoking, right? We don't want to deal with our daddy issues and the stuff that we got going on with our mama and how, we was treated and what happened to us when we was a kid or whatever. So we overindulge in sex. Listen, I'm not pointing the fingers. I'm telling y'all stuff that I went through. This is all I'm doing. The stuff I wrote down, stuff that I just went through. So maybe it can help somebody. I'm not saying it's going to help you, but maybe it can help you, like it ain't for everybody, loving someone that doesn't love you back. This is something that we can stop doing. Maybe I can take that out. Yeah, that's a self-healing. Loving someone that don't love you back. Forgiving, wearing what makes you happy, spending solo time by yourself, going out to dinner and getting dolled up. Take yourself. Okay, sorry. Going out to dinner and getting dolled up. Take yourself to the movies, a concert, to the beach, enjoy nature, workout, try new workouts, etc. Do I have any more back here? Let's see. Yeah. So those are a few things, you guys. Again, it may not work. All those things I said may not be for you. But the beauty of it is finding the things that you do. What are the things that you say, oh, I wish I could do that, but girl, I can't. Now you're trying to find ways, talking yourself out of it. Stop talking yourself out of it. Try it. Do it. That's it. Just do it. Okay. Y'all, this one was actually really good. I really wanted to have that conversation. Like I said, I feel like I'm able to, from the last time I spoke about it, I can just give you a little bit more pointers than I did last time. And again, self-care is a journey. It's a journey. It's not a destination. So how I did things a year ago, there's some new things in the works, maybe. Okay, so one of my new things, like I said, is, and when I said a concert, I want to go to a concert by myself. My birthday was intentionally by myself. I wanted to be able to enjoy me and just do what I wanted to do. And I literally, hands down, my best birthday I had. I truly. Not saying that all of them wasn't good, but this one was top tier. Like I said, a concert. I want to go to a concert with myself next. I do know that they do have Tasha Cobbs coming. I think it's in September. I think it's next month. What's a bit later? Whichever one it is, I'm going because I love me some Tasha Cobbs. And I just want to go and just be in the moment. So that's something else I want to do. I do want to also start doing like different adventures, like things just, again, by myself. Things to myself. I love spending time. Listen, my happiness, can't nobody make me happy. Does it make sense? Yes, I would love to be able to, when God is ready and if it's in His will, when He brings my person along where, I can share this with somebody, or even, like do things with friends as well too. But it's like, even if you don't come, I'm still gonna go, because by the end of the day, you do not find my happiness. Let's get into it. So y'all, we're not gonna do the beat of the week or the icebreaker. Why? Because your girl got a whole lot of stuff to do and we got to get to it. But we're going to do this not the icebreaker, the beat of the week or the WAYDTA. But we are going to do an icebreaker. I know the icebreaker was supposed to go ahead of all of this, but we're going to do it at the end, okay? So it says here, if you could be in any movie, what would it be? And what character would you play? One of my favorite movies of all times, besides Save the Last Dance, is Bring It On. The first one with Gabrielle Union. Okay. Like, those was the Clovers, baby. I lived for the Clovers, okay? What was what I know all the cheers though from the Toros. Awesome. Oh well, like totally freak me out. I mean, right on. Toro show is #1. I travel from Los Angeles. This school have no gymnastics. This is the last resort. I said burn. It's cold in here. I said there must be some clovers in the atmosphere. I said burn. It's cold in here. I said there must be some clovers in the atmosphere. I say O-E-O, E-O, ice, ice, ice. O-E-O, E-O, ice, ice, ice. Slow down. Period. Mine, obviously, it would be Bring It On. Duh. So, real quick, it would definitely... My characters would definitely either be Gabrielle Union or Natina... Is it Natina Red? R.I.P. to her. Between Natina or Gabrielle. Because Gabrielle just gave, like, leader, and I was always that girl. I was always giving leader. You know. Yeah. But Natina, I love when she was like, when she said, please let me just beat her ass or something like that. And then she was like, you just got touched by an angel, girl. I loved her in that movie, like, not even kidding. And then when they had pulled up on the Toros, when it was like when they pulled up on, you know, when they was doing their football game, and they pulled up on them and they started doing their cheer, and it was like all right, it's like, all right, we sweet, we got the hit, we can be beat, we're the rest, our team's so cool, we got the class to rock this school. Oh yeah, we bad, we can't be had, we're the best, so score this point, you win the game, we'll rock this joint. Go Toros, go Toros, go Toros, go Clovers, go Clovers, go Clovers. Try to steal her, but you look like shit, but we the ones to get down with it. Clearly, I was a Bring It On girl. Stop playing with me. That definitely would be that would definitely be my character. Either, like, I would definitely be my movie. My character would either be Gabrielle Union or Natina. Definitely. That was a time. They don't make movies like that no more, y'all. Then every other, like, movie that they tried to, you know, come out with after sucked. I don't like none of them. But y'all tell me if that was y'all favorite. Which one was y'all favorite Bring It On? If you girls know, you girls know. I love you guys so much. It was a time, okay? I hope, like I said, you guys, I gave you some pointers, some notes, something to, you know, take away from this episode this week. Y'all, let's learn to continuously take care of ourselves, care for ourselves, okay? Care for ourselves before you can care for anybody else. You guys, we gotta make sure that we are good. We are good. Wanna understand what I'm saying? I love you guys so much, girl. Don't forget, honey, to tell a sister, cousin, brother, auntie, uncle, niece, great cousin on your bald head daddy side with his long neck ass that this is to think about the podcast with you, girl. Nancy, why you had to be long neck? Why you had to be long neck? Bye.
You fit to do me, do juju. I don't look anybody, I be moo. You fit taking me, do anything